Okay, okay. Welcome. You are here for the University of Westminster School of Life Sciences Starting Your Practice module by Liz Hawkins. My name is Wael Elazab and I will be bringing social media front of mind. FYI's up front, we would be doing this live normally. It would be a much more interactive process. I have a script to follow, lights will fall from the ceiling, the green screen will collapse at some point, and I've no doubt that the camera can't stay in focus. But that aside, let's get on with it. I'm someone who in the 90s looked down on it, didn't really take part in social media when it kicked off. Yet today I spend easily half of my working time on socials. Today we're going to address it as a practical, meaningful and accessible way to help yourself, your clients and the world at large. And crucially, you get to define how that happens, how it touches the people you work with, the people you live with, and certainly beyond that. First, there is social media. Yes, I was going to go with was, but everything is happening at pace right now. What was an extremely abrupt cessation to our lives not too long ago, when lockdown was applied, now seems to be rapidly coming back up to speed. And first, social media should come. If you're here already thinking about digital, you're already ahead of the many who aren't, and the many, many who wish they had put it first right from the beginning. I hope you found your seat. Grab your tea and biscuits. Let's plug in, shall we? We're going to get started on the web right after this. Now, whether you love social media or hate it, the debate will go on forever. The idea here is just to come to terms with it. What are the mechanics of it? How can you use it to best serve your purposes? We have to go to the next slide. Right. So, these are the nuggets around which social media will cling. These 2 points here drawn from your handbook. You may well have read it. Okay, so on to the mugshot. There he is, loving social media all the way. Yes, I have a background in journalism, education in science, loads of experience with technology, lots of detail on LinkedIn. It's all about communication at the end of the day. What is the best way to do it? It depends likely on what you're communicating about and which medium and with who. And there may not just be one who. So different ways, different channels can be developed to communicate to different entities. Make sure you're understood and well received to each and all of the various audiences. The goals at the end of the day are not just your business goals. You have actually a life to live too. And social will wrap all of that up in a pretty little basket. So we'll be covering what social media is in this clip, and also in the next one we need to address who you are and what your brand is. After that we'll be looking at how to get you started, and then how to manage it and how to stay on top of it. You need to be able to create a system. The staying on top of it is by far and away the challenge. It's too easy to say you're too busy. It's too easy to say you don't have time. But if you're going to succeed in social, you have to put it up there along with all the other important elements that define you as a brand. So let's finally get to the internet. I'll open up a browser. Now, if I'm going to define social media, I'm going to say it's like life. To me, it's more about an extension of what we already do. There's no shortage of definitions, as you can imagine. Data is a very big issue. Well, let's see what dictionary definition is. Feel free to browse yourselves, and do of course forward any questions that you might have. I think if you send them to Liz, she'll be able to get them to me. Now, of course, it's probably the daddy, isn't it? Funny thing is, when that came out, I resisted with all my might. Key, I think, as well, as you wade through all of this, is to think about where people are. People as in your potential customers, the audience, the people you're going to be speaking to. And Facebook, as you can look up, is also serving an older demographic now, not just these numbers here, in terms of popularity, but also in terms of age. So consider that. And what you're going to be able to do, of course, with socials is segmentation. So the more you want to drill down and find out about people, providing they're publishing information, the more you will know. Simple as that, really. You can, certainly with Twitter, for example, you have many layers of analysis, and all of these platforms have built-in tools. Here we can see the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, and it really just depends on what level you want to look at it. Obviously, social media is creating all kinds of change, yes, politically, socio-economically, and I will liken it to real-world events. I think if you on the simplest level, when when it comes up with younger adults, children, it's like you go to the park. You might be meeting up with people you know, you might not. You might bump into people that you don't know and get to know them. They might turn out to be good, and they might not. It really is, for me anyway, on that level. And I think that with whichever eyes you choose to use as you go into it, you will get what you're looking for. Each platform will have its oddities, if you like. I'm just starting for myself on Pinterest. Still don't know how that quite happened, but I know it's partly down to researching IKEA office furniture hacks, and also how to water the lawn without a sprinkler. You'd either thought, or I thought anyway, it was just about baking to begin with, but no. And Pinterest does do very well, just as Instagram did, as it's very visual. I mean, the name alone, notes and pictures stuck on a wall come to mind. And we are visual. We are hardwired to respond to images, and images do very well on social, as does video, of course. Another way to think of social in terms of definition is what we do with it. sharing things ultimately, pictures and article links, all manner of content. And with social we can do it very quickly and in real time. So you know, real world limits aside, low signal, low battery and so on, we can do pretty much whatever we want. And you're going to find that, if anything, there'll be just too many opinions. I think really that's the biggest thing that I often have to deal with, is that everyone's got an opinion and everyone thinks they know what they want to do. And of course, as individuals, you do. It is one of those things where I would be hesitant to say, you know, I'm a social media expert. I don't think anyone's a social media expert. We're too young in the game, and really, I've only been doing it like, I've been doing it now 20 plus years. Professionally, I've been doing it about 10 of those years. So, you know, and the rate of change is huge. So, there's a lot going on, and no one opinion can be excluded, I think. Everyone has something useful to say about it. Now, I'm not really sure this first statement is fair anyway, but it's not far off. You know, on the whole, people are going to assess, you know, what's available to them. So what do you want to share? And are you ready for people to see that and look at it as being a part of you? More on that in the next video. However, don't go rushing into it. Let us just wrap up for a moment first. There is homework coming. If you've been listening along, I very much thank you for your time. I hope you'll go on to the other clips. However, before you do that, take what you saw or heard here, and if useful, spend some time with it. This is something that, you know, the more you read up on it, the more you experiment with it, the more you sign up to accounts. And if you decide not to use those accounts or use those platforms, do go back in and delete all your information and, you know, wipe your presence from that platform. If you're already in love with socials, I want to know what your next step is. What is it that you want to do next? And if you're not fussed or you don't like socials, give yourself an extra pat on the back for still being here. But could you ask yourself what it is that you'd like to have happen? You know, answer one of these two questions for me. What is missing, or what shouldn't be there? Back in the Stone Age, when all one had was a newspaper, the saying went, don't put anything in the post that you're not prepared to read about in the paper the next day. It still applies, though of course there are so many more outlets for sharing content. What we posted on social profiles, private or locked or whatever, may be shared in an instant to everyone you know, and many you don't. Keep that in mind. So, homework please is get in touch via Liz, answer one of these questions, send the questions to Liz, and they'll get passed on to me. And ideally, what I'd love to have happen really is either do another clip where we go through your questions and I have a stab at them, but even better really would be to do something live, if not with the entire class, with perhaps yourselves in 2s, 3s or 4s. We can arrange a time to do something like that. It would really make up for not having had the opportunity to come into the university and talk to you in person. So have yourselves a great day, and see you in the next video.